I'd like to call this meeting to order and state that this meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. It was properly noticed and has been posted and certified by the clerk. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hofferkamp.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Schindler. Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Young.
Here.
Mayor Francis.
Here. Please join me in flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
If I could advise Ron Tappan that Councilman Schindler's in the wing somewhere there holding.
Okay.
I don't see him, but I've admitted everybody. So if he's out there, he can come in.
He said he was on waiting, but maybe he's trying again.
Might be that network thing again.
That squirrel?
Yeah. Well, tonight, folks, we do have some proclamations, and it's really an honor, and therefore our two teachers that really deserve a lot of credit for all that they do. And the proclamations read as this, at least the first one. Whereas Shauna Longo is the general music teacher and arts integration specialist at Durban Avenue School here in Packcon. She is also a published author of integrating STEM music. And whereas Shauna serves on many boards and is an internationally recognized clinician and consultant for music, education, technology, social, emotional learning, and arts integration. And whereas Shauna is a recipient of many awards, including 2016 Governor's Education of the Year Award for Packcon Middle School, 2018 Njmea Master Music Teacher Award, 2019 Teacher Rockstar Teacher Award, 2019 New Jersey Governor's Award in Arts Education, and 2019 Mike Ovan's Music Tech Teacher of the Year. And whereas most recently, Shauna Longo received the 2021 Governor's Educator of the Year for Durban Avenue School, 2021 New Jersey Arts Educator of the Year, and last but not least, 2021-2022 Sussex County Teacher of the Year. And whereas Shauna Longo has shown her dedication and willingness to go above and beyond for the students of the Packcon school system, we appreciate and thank her. Now, therefore, I, Michael Francis, Mayor of the Borough of Packcon, do hereby proclaim February 3rd as Shauna Longo Day. Shauna, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, would you like to say anything? You can.
Thank you, Mayor Francis. I just want to thank everyone in Hopatcong. I've been here now, I think this is year 12 in the Hopatcong schools, and I'm so gracious for the welcoming I've had over the years, for the support that we've had for the music department. And it's really helped me develop as a teacher, and everything I do to bring back to our students in Hopatcong. So I am ever grateful for all of you, for your support of the schools and for what we're doing in the school systems. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be where I am today without all of my students and all of you. So thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
We certainly appreciate what you do for our community. Thank you on behalf of the people of Packcon and also this governing body.
Thank you so much.
My next proclamation is for another teacher. And we have some pretty special people in our educational system. Reads as thus. Whereas Catherine McFadden is the principal of Durban Avenue School and a former music teacher, and whereas Catherine is aware of the benefits of a comprehensive arts education and has been active professionally by serving on many district-based committees that include theatrical arts, music, and writing workshops. And whereas Catherine also has a broad range of teaching experience that ranges from pre-K, college, and also holds degrees from 3 universities. And whereas Catherine has most recently received the 2022 Njmea School Administrator Award. This award is presented annually to outstanding school principals and/or superintendents who demonstrate commitment and support to high-quality arts education programs in their schools. And whereas Catherine has proved to be a strong leader and has a good rapport with teachers, parents, students, and other school administrators, we are proud to have her as our Durham Avenue School Principal and thank her for her dedication. Therefore, I, Michael Francis, Mayor of the Borough of Packcon, do hereby proclaim February 4th, 2022 as Catherine McFadden Day. I know Catherine is traveling, but she needs to know how much we appreciate what she does, and we believe and appreciate how important the arts are to our students and the quality they bring to our kids. It's just not reading, writing, and arithmetic, but the arts are critically important to their cultural development and also their values and also their moral compass. So we really appreciate our two teachers that have won these prestigious awards and keep up the good work. So thank you. Okay. Proclamations are always nice. Committee reports. Dawn, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I just want to start by saying thank you to the Center for Prevention for partnering with us here in Hopatcong. In the last month, we were able to work together to divert or redirect a potential crisis in two separate families in our town. And that's really huge, just to have the resources that we have, to have the partnerships that we have. And the Center for Prevention, they are just stellar. They're professional. And they're experts, in the field of all kinds of crises. So I'm just very, very grateful to be working with them, and we're grateful as a community to have these resources coming from our county. I also just want to remind everyone that Hope and Serenity will be here next Wednesday night from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. They as well, they're movers and shakers, and we are filled to capacity with all the people coming in for help and peer recovery and counseling each week. Just very, very grateful as well for Hope and Serenity. And just want to remind everyone that the Center for Prevention will be here next Thursday, week from tomorrow, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Going forward, going into March, we will be announcing an event that we will be partnering with the Center for Prevention on the subject of self-harm. So as we get closer to March, I will make more updates, announcements. We'll post it on the website when we have that date firmed up. But self-harm is very real, and it's a subject we're going to be tackling very soon with the Center for Prevention. So just really proud of everything coming together. Thank you. And that's it for now.
Thank you, Dawn. Brad, you're up.
Well, Mayor, first let me thank Shauna and Catherine for an outstanding job they do, and our appreciation for working with the students it's well-deserved recognition. I'd like to also say that we recently had several major water lines break, and it surely affected some of our residents. We suffered from low water pressure, and I'd like to thank the DPW members who responded promptly, as they were also preparing for the incoming storm we recently had. One business in town ended up unexpectedly with a rather large swimming pool in their basement. Again, they did a very good job of handling both tasks in a timely fashion. Many thanks to our DPW, and I also believe that the Packcon Fire Department came in there to pump out the basement for them. Thanks to the fire department and the DPW. Last week at the Environmental Commission meeting, I introduced a new project to be considered by the EC and the Beautification Committee, and in concert with the Recreation Commission. If possible, the project would be a volunteer-funded establishment at Maxim Glen Park in front of the bandstand of amphitheater seating. This project would provide ample seating for concerts, shows, and other presentations throughout the year. This was very well received by the all in attendance. At the appropriate time, we'll present this to the council for their review and approval. On a bright note, Sergeant, I'm sorry, let me add one other thing first. I would also like to pass on some information provided by Acting Chief Megan McCluskey that members of the Hopatcong Police Department attended on 2 separate occasions and represented our borough at the funeral of the 2 New York City Police Department officers recently killed in the line of duty. On a brighter note, I'd like to say that Sergeant Christopher Latito's last call walkout was yesterday. As a former law enforcement officer, I, along with the mayor and other council members present, witnessed a very well-deserved send-off. I would like to congratulate him on his retirement and for help keeping our community safe over the last 25 years. I am sure the sentiment is shared by the majority of our community. In closing, I would like to acknowledge a special birthday of one of our past seniors of the year, a community-minded person, Pat Hoffman, who is also a member of the Packcon Women's Club for over 50 years, and she recently turned 90 years young. Congratulations and happy birthday, Pat. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Brad. Is Rich on?
Yep, I am here.
All right, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to acknowledge and thank Shauna and Catherine. That is a great award, and you guys are great teachers, and thank you for your service. It's very much appreciated, and it's great for Hopatcong. Next, budget. We've been working diligently on the budget, and I want to just say thank you for all the department heads to put stuff together for our capital budget part of it. We did meet with a bunch of the department heads, and things went very well. And I want to thank Lorraine and Ron. We've really worked hard on this budget, and we're going to be finished with it sooner than we did last year. And it's a great thing. So thank you. Also, with the water company, the PFAS, we are diligently trying to find new sources of funding to try to get more money from state and from grants to try to get some more filters for our water system. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. John, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I hate to be redundant, but congratulations and thank you to Shauna and Catherine. Very well deserved. We certainly appreciate all your hard work in town with the young people of our town. So again, congratulations. Sergeant Latito, it was a nice ceremony. Congratulations on your retirement. Most people know him as Lotto. I remember when he wrestled and played football in high school. So Lotto and I go way back. I also want to give a shout out to our DPW. They did an excellent job with the storm we had Friday night, Saturday. Despite the fact that they were shorthanded, you know, they did an excellent job. Took a little longer because they were shorthanded. You know, I stopped by Saturday afternoon about 4 o'clock after I was done with work and clearing my own snow. And it's not uncommon for me to stop by and just see how they're holding up and things are going. And darned if I went in there and there was nobody there except one person. Everybody was out still working. So they put in a very long day on that storm. So just want to give them a shout out. We all appreciate it. Committees, first of all, open space. We had our reorg meeting. We had some discussion about the borough master plan for open space recreation. We discussed Witten Park a little bit. We discussed the county trails and parks grant that we submitted. And the following night was the Sussex County Open Space meeting. 3 of us from the Open Space Committee attended that meeting, and Ron presented our application. Ron did an excellent job. We thank him for that. There were also 2 other towns that did presentations, Andover Township and Byram. And they met Stanhope a few times, so I'm assuming Stanhope has an application in too, but no decision was made yet. We'll see where that goes. Environmental, they had their reorg meeting I believe last week. Jewel Gurman is chairwoman once again. She does an excellent job. First thing we did, we reviewed all of our last year's events. We had some discussion about the green team, which is not just the environmental commission. It involves people from different aspects of the community. We had some discussion about becoming a community wildlife habitat. We had a presentation a few months ago, and that's one of the things we're kind of looking into. Also had a little bit of discussion about Witten Park, and from the beautification committee, who Bradley and the rest of the committee members do an excellent job. They'll be taking down the Halloween decorations very soon. And if you continue to see white lights in Maxim Glen, don't be not that they forgot them, made a decision to leave them up for a while. So we also talked about events that are being planned for this year. We will once again have the New Jersey tree recovery, the free tree giveaway. And I don't have all the complete dates or hours, so but I'll give you what I have so far. The tree giveaway will be April 23rd. The guided bird hike, which usually in the mountain inlet area, that will be in May. I don't have a date or time yet. National Trails Day hike will be June 4th. Shred Day will be September 17th. Townwide cleanup, September 24th. We're planning a fall hike for October 8th. And they're also planning on doing the Fall for Our Town Festival in the fall again this year. And we also had some discussion because this year is the 50th anniversary of the Hopatcong Environmental Commission. So had some discussion on that too as well. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Ryan, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to start by also being redundant and congratulating Catherine McFadden and Shauna Longo. Catherine McFadden was the principal in the elementary school for all three of my children, and they remember her fondly. And I'm so glad that she's there, and she really is a fantastic administrator. Shauna Longo and Kurt Zimmerman spearheaded the STEAM program at the Borough schools a few years back, and that has had a huge impact. Most people know STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's kind of dear to my heart. I am an engineer. The STEAM program adds arts to it. So it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Shauna was instrumental in bringing that program to the Packcon Borough schools, and it touched all three of my children and has been a huge addition to our programs. Very grateful for their service, both of them, Catherine and Shauna. They are phenomenal teachers, phenomenal administrators, wonderful people to know. Very grateful for them. With that, I'm going to go on to committees. Chamber of Commerce, the next DIBB breakfast is February 8th. The next COVID briefing is February 11th. Our next meeting is also on February 11th. Our annual dinner right now is slated for March 1st. We didn't have one last year due to COVID. So it's been held off for a year, and hopefully we squeeze this one in if everything continues to go status quo. Over the Sussex County Municipal Utilities Authority, the next Sharps disposal event is tomorrow, February 3rd. The next paper shredding event is February 18th. And last but not least, I want to thank Sergeant Chris Latito for 25 years of service. Certainly a friend. I know him through Scouts. Wonderful father, wonderful police officer. Thank you, sir, for your service. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Ryan. Jan, you're up.
I don't have anything new from my committees. I just wanted to wish a congratulations to Mrs. Longo and Mrs. McFadden. My children did not have the pleasure of having Mrs. Longo, although she sounds like an absolutely wonderful teacher. Both of my children had Mrs. McFadden. My younger son was actually in kindergarten when Hudson Maxim was closed, and she handled it with just such grace and ease. And she's just a phenomenal administrator. I also wanted to wish a happy retirement to Sergeant Latito and 25 years of service to the borough. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan. Ron, administrative report.
Thank you, Mayor. Chris Latito was very good to work with. I hate to see him go. He's one of the good ones. And I owe him an apple pie. He likes my apple pie. So I got to owe him before he totally goes out of town. But anyway, what a great guy. And just a great police officer. And I wish him the best of luck. Thank you, Councilman Schindler, for the budget. The department heads have worked hard. They didn't like a lot of things we made them do, but that's okay. That's what it's about. And we are looking, if everything goes well with the auditors, we'll be looking to introduce the budget the next meeting in February. So this will be one of the earliest adoptions or introductions to a budget that we've had in a very long time. We got together and we came to a very good point. So that's off to my department heads, to Rain. She does a phenomenal job. I absolutely bug her to death on what if situations, and the help of the finance committee and everybody, it just comes together. So I'm real happy about that. Budgets are always a tricky subject. My DPW guys, I can't say enough about them. I say something about them every meeting, I think, but God, this past week, between the snow and more importantly, the water leaks. We had water leaks all over the place. Our water system is just leaking like a sieve. And to the point of Councilman Hopatcong's comment, we had 180,000 gallons of water that was distributed in one place at one time. We're looking at the tanks. Our one particular tank that sits at 30 feet was going down to 11 in real quick order. Myself, the DPW, the mayor, everybody was going around looking for, water leaks and water coming out of the road or something of that nature. And we finally found one of our establishments and we were able to secure it. Unfortunately, on Monday, it had another leak, and we were chasing that all week to a point where we had to shut them down today in order to get it repaired. It was another 10,000 gallons that went out of that facility today that went back to the lake. So the challenge of our group has been very well done, and we got our handle around it, and the wells are to get back healthier, but that was quite an issue over the weekend and the week. That brings me down to the next question, next thing I want to talk about, and that's our water system. We have been issued violations by the EPA, and I'm sure everybody has heard the word PFAS. I know anybody that's on the water utility and has got violation notices in the mail. They're the most god-awful things that are ever written, and that's just the DEP. The DEP has set a standard for our water system that is strategically very, very low, and unfortunately, our wells for a very long time have been running at a little higher than the standard that the DEP has put out. So what I'd like to show everyone is what we're doing. We are ahead of the curve of majority of the municipalities and townships in the state of New Jersey trying to remediate this PFAS issue. Now look, I can't compete with Bergen County. They got more money than anybody can print. But from everybody else that's in this business that's dealing with the PFAS issue, the Borough of Packcon is leading the pack on getting filtration in and getting the remediation systems in to repair our PFAS system. So I'd like to show a couple of slides, if you don't mind. This is, if I can, let's see. If I can, this diagram is a diagram of the system of an example of a filter system that's going on each one of our wells. And the point of the matter I'm trying to illustrate here, that these systems are this is not a filter that you put underneath your kitchen sink. These are very significantly designed carbon filtration systems that remove the PFAS in our well systems. We're not trying to go down 0.1, 0.2. We're aiming for 0. When our wells produce, our wells are going to produce 0 PFAS. Now, to give you some understanding, this is one of the smaller illustrations of filter systems. This is going to go in our smaller wells. The platform for the thing is 8 feet wide by 12 feet long. Each one of these vessels are 5 foot in diameter and about 10 feet tall. And this is the smaller ones. When you look at Mariner and you look at Squire, our larger producing wells, these platforms are going to be 8 feet wide by 14 feet long. And its cylinders are going to be 5 feet in diameter and 12 feet tall. They're monstrosities. It's a lot of capacity that these cylinders will be able to take up. When we illustrate these, when we install these, we're going to have a 12-foot privacy fence all the way around them so that you won't see these on the road. They have heat elements that are in them to keep them from being frozen in the winter and keep frost and stuff off of them. The good news is, and if there's any good news in this, we are ahead of the manufacturers on billing these because we don't have a lot of sophistication on our filters. There's no electronic mechanisms on our filters. We got basic wells that have much larger capacities that need electronic transfer valves and electronic controls are really behind the curve because the manufacturers of those units cannot get the parts. That being said, parts for ours are not that easy to get either. This process right here that we've ordered for River Styx is the first application. We have a predicted receival of vessel sometime around the 1st of May. The other vessel that I've ordered, we don't even have a dedicated time frame with when that's coming. So to date, what we have as a borough, we have ordered a vessel for wells 3 and 3A, which is an 84-inch, which will be the largest vessel. That's been ordered. We've ordered the vessel for River Styx, and we've ordered the engineering plans for the vessel for Mariner. We're hoping to get our CARES money approved to spend within the next week or two. We don't know. It says it's available, but we're waiting for the okay to do that. I've gone out for proposals for Squire in Durban. So we will be, if those monies come available, we'll pay the balance on the enjoying Mariner and have Squire Durban taken care of as well. In addition, our engineer is looking at maybe, if we can, not just putting a filter at Durban, but putting a filter at well 12, which is just down the road and up in the back of the west. If we put a larger vessel there, we may be able to pipe the water from Durban to well 12 and have one filter be able to filtrate the PFAS from that facility instead of having two. That's what we're hoping to do. We don't know that that's going to work out or not, but that's our plan at the moment. So I want to talk PFAS just as where New Jersey sits in the rest of the world. The chart I want to show you is what the PFAS status is in the United States. First thing I want to show is all the gray area that you see here. These are all the states in the United States that don't even test for PFAS in the first place. They don't even look for it. The blue areas or the darker areas are areas that have adopted a PFAS standard that is 70 parts per trillion. And that was the EPA standard that's been out for a while that said over a 60 plus engineering, a scientific review on animals with high intensity of PFAS. They said that after that, 70 parts per trillion is a level that we should look at safety issues. The areas in red, they have adopted the standard below 70, and that's us. If you look at New Jersey, California, New Jersey mimicked California, and what they did, they mimicked the rating of 0.014 parts per trillion against the 70 parts per trillion that the EPA had set out. New Jersey has claimed that the DEP has claimed that they've gone to a very strategic means of reducing the PFAS in our area, and it's put that struggle on all the utilities across the borough. So I want everybody an understanding of what the rules have done. Blue areas also, there's some areas that have adopted below the 70, but above 40. New Jersey and California have been the ones significantly have been at the 0.014%. So I just want to let the council know, I want the public to know, I want everybody to know, we're not taking this lightly. We're doing everything we can to remediate this. It's not easy. The supply chains are terrible. We're having a terrible time getting material in, but we're taking one at a time, and we're going to go in at one at a time, and we're going to get this thing done. So again, to the public, to the council, if anybody's got any questions about our PFAS remediation efforts, please call me. I want you to get the straight story. I don't want you to hear anything that the borough's not doing anything, that we're not spending money. We're spending all the money we can, and we're begging for the rest of it. So, Mayor, that's about all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Ron. We're at the public comments. I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
An opportunity is given to the public for commentary. Comments are limited to one comment of no more than 5 minutes. All right, Ron, let her rip.
All right. If anybody wants to make public comments, please go to the lower right hand of the reactions button to raise hand, so I know you're there. All right, I have one. Sam account 2.
Heather Fiore, 313 Avenue. I have a few questions, primarily pertaining to the rec summer camp. One, it's my understanding that the rec director is telling people that the summer camp no longer exists. So I'd like to find out why. From the explanation that was given, it's due to the increase in insurance as well as the requirement for an RN, neither of which is true. So I'm trying to find out what the status is on that. I also understand that it's been said that for financial reasons, they can't hold summer camp. But at the same time, a few meetings ago, the rec meeting, there was in excess of $35,000 that was requested to be transferred from the excess summer camp fees into the events trust. And if we are not able to afford summer camp, why are we giving away money from summer camp? And then the last question I have is, we can't hold meetings in person because of COVID. How are we holding meetings in person for other commissions? And we're having a Meet the Mayors night at the community center. I don't understand why we can't have a meeting in person. That's it.
Thank you. Next up.
Let's see. Mary Mode, you're up.
Hi, I just had a question about the bill list. There was a check 22-00132 that was 118.22. It was for $1,738.40. It was to Heller Properties for the first quarter rent. And I was wondering is that our portion of the taxes and the sewer and garbage and water included in that? And I also had a question about the emergency funds. I believe at the last meeting you said that we were applying for emergency funds for the reassessment, and I was wondering if you could explain more. Thank you.
All right. All right, here we got one more. Wendy, you're up.
Hi, my name is Wendy Sutton.
She's muted.
You muted yourself,
Wendy,
Wendy.
you just muted yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Now
Now
we can.
Sorry, I'm at this. Okay, I would just like to make a statement about the Packcon Recreation Summer Camp questions that are coming up. We are not doing a summer camp. One of the reasons why we are not doing a summer camp is because there is an established summer camp at the Packcon schools that was run last year. It was run successful and people were very happy with it. So we are not going to compete with another business in town and try to ruin their summer camp when we know that they are running their summer camp again this year at the Packcon schools. If anyone has any further questions or comments or concerns about anything that the Packcon Recreation Commission does, they should come to our meetings, which are the second Tuesday of every month. We do them in person, and you are welcome to come address the commission and ask us these specific questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. More comments?
Yes, Mayor, we have one more. Ryan, you're up.
Not really, Ryan. I'm Greg Smith. I at 501 Maxim Drive. Yeah. I wanted to thank Councilman Hofferkamp and the Lake Hopatcong Rotary Club for the generous donation I got for my Eagle Scout project at the Roland May Eves Inlet Sanctuary. We're nearing completion, and the donation was kindly accepted. So thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Greg.
Greg.
All right.
More hands?
Mayor, that's all I see.
I'll move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're back. Well, I hope Wendy's comment with some of the summer rec issue, but I'll talk to that issue a little bit later. Hopefully we can help people understand, and maybe I'll even give a little history on how we got here. So that I'll make sure I cover a little bit more about that. Might be helpful.
And can I ask a question? Next Tuesday, they're having a rec meeting?
Yeah.
No, they are not. At their
They're not
last
having a
meeting,
rec. Right.
at their last meeting, they decided not to have the February meeting.
So the next meeting that's available is March 8th. Is that
I
correct?
believe so, yes.
Okay. And just maybe I should have mentioned this, but I know that there was an outreach to Alpha Best about running that camp. It is not an established camp. That was 1 year that they did it because we weren't running ours last year. Alpha Best is twice the cost of our camp. And it's not an established camp. They had it 1 year last summer. And that's the reasons why it's being canceled. It's really just, it's very sad, I have to tell you. So.
Actually, Alpha Best will be meeting with the school administration on Monday, and they're looking forward to having camp again this summer. All right. Okay, where are we going now? Approval of minutes.
There was another question, Mayor, and I'm sorry.
I thought we closed the public comment.
Did.
No. John, what other question were you talking?
Ms. Modes had a question of a bill on the bill list.
Oh, yeah, that's the quarterly fee that we pay, if you will, and it's all inclusive. There's no additional cost that we pay.
Mayor, if you would, I kind of want to say something.
Go ahead.
One of the comments that I've heard, I also heard about summer camp, but another comment that I heard that kind of touched me a little bit was that the Recreation Commission is taking activities from children. And I have a lot of experience with Recreation Commission. I was on the Recreation Commission for 25 years before I got on council. And so I have a lot of history there. And I do want to say,
too, John.
Yes, I know. And I'd like to give everybody in attendance a little brief summer overview of how some of the things in this town have gone. The Easter egg hunt, for example, that was one time run by an independent group in town. And quite a few years ago, they decided not to do it. The Recreation Commission at the time picked it up and ran with it. And I think it's much bigger than it ever was. But the bottom line is it had been done. It was going to evaporate. The Recreation Commission picked it up and did it. The Halloween contest. There was a time when an independent organization had a Halloween festival, I'll call it. And we started to do, I say we, the Recreation Commission started to do a Halloween contest and joined with them to do the festival and the contest. And then some years after that, that organization dropped their Halloween festival. So again, the Recreation Commission expanded their contest to what it is now. Rec basketball, to me, is a big one. There was, again, a group of volunteers similar to Hawks soccer, Warriors football, Little League baseball that ran basketball in town. They actually had two facets of the program. They had a recreation side and they had a travel side. And again, quite some years ago, they were going to drop the recreation basketball side. Recreation Commission decided we can't let that go. And the Recreation Commission picked it up and are still doing recreation. Since then, that group totally evaporated and there's no travel basketball. So the recreation run basketball in town is the only basketball. Street hockey was a new event, had a gentleman, Aldo Capria, came to the Recreation Commission looking to start a street hockey program. The Recreation Commission worked with him and facilitated the program that we now know today. Aldo does a wonderful job with that program, but that is under the auspices of the Recreation Commission. And if it weren't for the Recreation Commission, we wouldn't have it probably. Santa in the Park. Again, years ago, there was another entity that did a very nice Christmas holiday celebration in the park. The Recreation Commission used to do a holiday movie in the high school. And when the other entity dropped out and stopped doing their celebration, I think there was a 2-year gap, but again, the Recreation Commission stepped in and started doing the Santa in the Park, which is kind of replaced that that event. And also it kind of replaced the movie and also the concert that we had sometimes in the firehouse, because we had the high school band for the last 2 years at Santa in the Park. So just kind of a little history of some of the things that the Recreation Commission does and how they started doing them. So just wanted to let everybody know that. Thank you, Mayor.
And I have another. I have another thing. Alphabest, I have it on good authority that Alphabest will back away if we run our town camp. They're not going to care as long as the children have somewhere to go over the summer. I know that Nicole Schubert she got kicked out of the meeting and came back and she wanted to speak, but I'm going to kind of take her words from her. I hope I don't screw them up. They want care for the children over the summer. They don't really care who it is. So Alphabest will step in if the town doesn't take over. It's not that we're in competition with Alphabest. The other thing is that these programs, Halloween, Christmas, Easter egg hunt, Packcon days for the kids, they're wonderful events and they're provided for, but you're talking about 4 events a year for the children, whereas the sports and the camp are self-funded by the parents. The parents pay for their children to attend the camp. It's not like a budget line item from our municipal or recreational budget, and neither is basketball or street hockey, which are 2 wonderful, great things that we have in the town. I'm saying that we have to offer more to the children, and we're really falling short here. You have a lot of really involved parents. I know that I see a lot of parents on here that are probably afraid to speak up, but you're forgetting that we live in an area that I can't afford to send my children to camp up in Stillwater to the YMCA if they're at $5,000 for the summer. This is a reasonable priced item for the parents and children of our community. And I think that it needs to be looked into a little bit more seriously.
Jen, thanks for that. But I have to pipe in. Everyone wants good things for our children and for our constituents for sure. But let's be straight about this. This is a rec issue. If the next meeting, some things come up at the rec, go talk to them and see. It's financial. It's not. Alpha Best is meeting on Monday with the school to try to keep going. I mean, they had a good program last year. So I think, we should leave it up to them, and we can't, as a council, do everything.
No, but we're the
So-
governing body, are we not?
Yes, we are, but
Okay.
they handle it.
Oh, no,
They handle it.
I understand that, but
So I would like to move on.
Thank you. Well, the Recreation Commission, for those who don't know, is an autonomous commission, not a committee. They just don't get together because they have nothing else to do. They do some serious business. We do take them seriously. And it's autonomous, so it doesn't get political interference with what they do. That's an important thing. So let's keep that in mind. And Rich makes a good point. And by the way, they take responsibility for their decisions, I'm sure. And so if you want to address the issue with them, I think that's probably the appropriate place to be. So thank you all for your input. I'm sure that we'll look into this further. So now we're at approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the January 19th, 2022 minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
we asked to remove anything or no?
It's the minutes.
Oh, my bad. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Resolution 2022-39, approval of the bill list.
Does anyone need anything removed?
Did we talk about the two bills, the Heller bill that Mara brought up?
Mhm.
Yes, Mike did.
He did?
Mhm.
Okay, and the assessment one?
I'm sorry, what, Jennifer?
The one about the assessment evaluation?
Oh,
Oh, the reassessment?
Yeah,
Well,
I know. We don't want to talk about it, but I think there was a question about the emergency funds for the assessment.
yeah, unless the taxpayer want to foot a $400,000 bill in 1 year, we're allowed by the state to declare an emergency fund and take 10 years to pay for
mm-mm.
Like a bond?
No.
Ron, why don't you explain it?
Thank you.
Yeah, we anytime there's an overall assessment and it can come in at a very high number. We can declare an emergency of sorts to pay that type of process, and we can pay that over the course of 5 years. So this assessment project's probably going to come in between, I'm guessing here, for $500,000. So we would pay for that per year to get to that total amount for that assessment. But we're allowed, because the assessment comes in, to hit a borough with our budget with that number at one time is hard. So they allow us to spread it over the 5 years, and that's why we can declare an emergency over it. I hope that helped the explanation.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't have anything to.
Okay, does anyone else have anything that needs to be discussed or removed? Not hearing any, Mayor, I'll move the bill list in its entirety.
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
Approval of the consent agenda.
so made.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Resolution R2022-41, that's Hudson Guild, right? That's Hudson Farm?
yes.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
This is introduction, ordinance 1, 2022, amending or chapter 16325 concerning the Jefferson Dog Park, an ordinance of the Borough of Packcon, County of Sussex, amending section 16325 of the Code of the Borough of Packcon concerning the Jefferson Dog Park.
so moved.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
And the final reading will be at the next meeting, Val?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2, 2022, establishing a cap bank. Calendar year 2022 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank as per NJSA 40A-4-45.14.
so moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
And that also final reading will be at the next council meeting.
Correct.
Resolutions, resolution 2022-40, authorizing a contract with the County of Sussex for a certified recycling professional.
so moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
Resolution 2022-42, authorizing the cancellation of capital improvement project balances.
I will
So moved.
gladly move that one.
Yeah.
Second.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
This money goes back in the municipal general capital. That's awesome. Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
Resolution 22-43, appointment of Bernard Kaczkowski as fire official. I got it right.
so moved.
Second. If somebody.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
Resolution 2020-44, authorizing the lease for the community center.
so moved.
Second.
Call the roll,
Third.
please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Present.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes,
Old business, any? Under new business, I have the appointment of the following to the Land Use Board. Anthony Bongiovanni as Class 4 member through 12/31/2024. Jonathan Taylor, alternate number 1 through 12/31/2022. James Delarino, alternate number 2 through 12/31/2023. Michael Smith, alternate number 3 through 12/31/2022, and Walt Rossi, alternate number 4 through 12/31/23.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Whatever.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Well, that brings us to a full complement. We've been short and someone moved, so we had to, and what happens here, so the council knows, when someone leaves, the alternates usually move up. So if somebody leaves, alternate number one goes to a class 4 member and then so on and so forth. But we've been a little short of people, so now we have a full complement, which is good when we have certain types of use variances where elected officials can't sit. So it's always helpful to have our alternates. I want to report that for the month of January, we had 730 positive cases in our town. That is really a lot. I think I'll email to council. I should have. I don't know how to share my screen. If I did, I would show you the January report with a graph, and the graph is just crazy. But the numbers early in January, we were getting like 20 positive cases, 40 positive cases. One we had 100 positive cases. But I have to say, towards the end of the month, they're like 15, 10, 8. So it looks like a funny curve. But I'm hoping that it stays on that downward trend, because these are not good numbers at all. For whatever it means, the positive is a positive. So I don't take anything other than it's a number that's reported to me by the County Board of Health. And so we need to know that and be aware that the positive cases are high. We had, I think we had 2 deaths this month. And by the way, all the deaths to date, to my knowledge, have been unvaccinated, just as something that's pointed out to me by the County Board of Health. So it's unfortunate. So pay attention and just be full. That's all. So again, I'd like to congratulate Lotto. He actually wrestled with oldest son, and he kind of wrestled heavyweight then too. But he's a good man. He's a real person. I'm going to miss him. And so our new department is very young. I'll get to know them a little bit better, but they're great. They're great people. And I told a story about a lady cleaning her car off, and one of our guys went on patrol, and he actually stopped and helped her clean her car off. No one made him do that, but boy, I'll tell you what, it makes you really proud of our employees. And it's something you did have to do, and he got out and he did it. That's great. And I reported that to Megan, our acting chief, and it's important that we acknowledge that and we make that a habit, so people know that our police are their friends and they're there to support and help them too, not just to give them tickets. That's not what we do. I'll be working on more aeration projects for the lake. We have some funding that could be made available to us from a private benefactor, not from the state, not from a grant. Someone that an environmental group that kind of likes our lake and they want to make some investments. So I'll talk to the other mayors and we'll look at opportunities for the entire lake. I'd like to get something out in the deep part, and that's going to be a big, but even a little part, like down there in England, I think them folk could use a little help, and it wouldn't be a big installation. So we look at logistics on where we're going to put the compressor. We look at the electric bill. We look at stuff like that. And believe it or not, some people don't like the aeration because they don't want to have the compressor. So too bad. But we'll look at them opportunities. Hopefully some of them will come to fruition. And when we get area to the lake, it's going to be healthier. If you've been by River Styx, you'll see the ice fishermen. Let me tell you something. I'm an ice fisherman. I don't go where there's no fish. And so the point I'm making is with the aeration throughout the past year and a half, it's really made the water column healthy. It's encouraged the natural growth of the small microorganisms that the fish feed on, and just make for a healthier environment and pretty good fishing too. I've been asked to speak at a state function about HABs and harmful algae blooms. I don't know if they're getting themselves, know that what they're getting themselves into, But I can talk about our lake for a long time and about the logistics of harmful algae plumes. It's just not aeration. There's a lot of other things you do too. And so far, my friends at the DEP have not been forthcoming on letting us try other creative approaches to solving that other states have used. But I'll keep working on that. And thanks again to our people that worked on the budget. It sounds easy, but it's not. And of course, my goal is to have no municipal tax increase. That's easier said than done. And Ron and Lorraine take the heat for that because they're the ones that have to tell the department that, nope, go back and do it again. So we keep doing that till we get it right. And hopefully we do. I've been doing some work on some people on the skate park. You know, John mentions how the Rec Commission supports other activities. Well, I happen to believe that the skate park is an important one. It's not a high population, but it's a population of people that use it is very special to them. And so, although we don't have all the money to do it, there might be some small things that I will approach the Recreation Commission to do. There's some very simple things that I might be able to get donated for the kids just go and jump and skate on or whatever they do with these obstacles. But there are some simple things that we can do. And as I learn more, I'll share more with you. But I fully intend to keep pursuing this for them children, them young people. So just so you know, in the spring, I'm going to ask the Rec Commission to open that park. And even if I have one feature for them kids, they'll be able to go use it. So we'll pursue that. We'll pursue that. But I've committed to doing that. And if anybody wants to contact me with ideas, have them call me. We can brainstorm it. There's a lot of little simple things we could do. It doesn't have to be $1 million. It could be something very simple. And I fully intend to pursue that. And so we talk about recreation. We talk about what we do. I was chairman of the Recreation Commission for 10 years, and that, before John's time, actually. And John's been around a long time.
Yes,
So,
you were chairman when I first got on.
Yes, I was. And so I'll give you a little background on some of that. But what bothers me when we start talking subjects, I'd love for people to come to the meetings. I love to get their call. But what I don't love is information on social media that really is not accurate. And it's convenient, I know, and it's a sounding board. I get all that. But we're better off just sitting down and have a dialogue about that. And I think if we help people understand where we came from, how we got there, I think it will be a little bit more understandable, and there'll be a little more clarity on some of how important and how responsible our recreation department is, and our recreation coordinator, who takes a lot of heat for a lot of stuff. When the former recreation coordinator retired in 2015, a new organization plan was created, and we merged the recreation department with the senior nutrition program. As you remember, it was always done separately with separate people. Originally, the senior program was separate from the recreation and had their own nutrition director and their own staff. We changed that, and under the new organizational chart, the nutrition director position was eliminated, and the workload was reassigned to the recreation coordinator. And a few years back, this got really touchy, but we resolved all that. And I don't intend to revisit that, by the way. And the borough saved a lot of money when we did this. And the Recreation Commission, being more involved, also made it a healthier program. And the county does give us $27,700 a year towards the program. After the businesses, and what John was relating to before with the other organization was the Business Association, when they disbanded, all the activities they provided for Packcon days, Halloween, were transferred to the Recreation Department. And the Recreation Department was also assigned all the events that were organized by former elected officials, which included Memorial Day service, 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony, Veterans Day, Miss Lotta Veterans Cruise, Town Calendar, Town Website, the Packcon Days Organization, and Block Party. And that's just to mention a few. So when you try to make light of all that effort, this is easy stuff to do. Along with the town, along with the crew, the town calendar, town website, all of that is it's a lot of hard work. And along with the reassignment, many new events were organized and included in the Recreation Department's yearly schedule. They included the July and August concerts, Santa in the Park, Senior Olympic, the Halloween party for seniors, senior preparation of food for the senior picnic. And I'd also like to mention that the Senior Edition program served 12,000 grab-and-go meals in 2021. We didn't shut down because of this stupid pandemic. We continued our service in a safe way that was approved by the State Board of Health and the County Board of Health. And that was under the direction of the Recreation Coordinator. The nutrition program has become the largest in Sussex County. We're not the largest town, but we have the largest nutrition center with the most participation and the most meals served. That's no light task, folks. So the recreation continues to organize the Easter egg hunt, Memorial Day parade, a Packcon days, and all the budgets, audits, street hockey, basketball schedules for the use of the senior center. And you know, by the way, all the use permits are through the recreation. And so I say this because I want people just to get a little bit of a better feel for what goes on and what goes on to the radar that you don't see a lot of times. They're responsible for inspection from the state and the county and all the county paperwork and senior nutrition budget, and it gets audited regularly. And so and we do fine with that. So I'm just trying to make the point that this is no like, oh, let me come in and see what I'm going to do today. It's not so. It's a lot of work. As far as summer recreation is concerned, the program was never administered by the recreation coordinator. I could tell you, when I was chairman of rec, it was the coordinators were Joan Riley, may she rest in peace, and Judy Crock, who's still around and is on our land use board. But them two women, along with myself, I just said, what do you need? They just said what we were going to do. And that's how that worked. And it was very effective. It was about 9 to 2. It was really meant for children to come have some activities and some arts and crafts, but mostly outdoors. And when it rained, indoors. We had coloring books. We had stuff that was a little bit more rudimentary than today. But the point I'm making is it was an activity for the kids. It really wasn't daycare. It wasn't. Although you might call it that, but that was not the intent. The intent was the health and the experience of our children so that they could enjoy each other and some skills that, you know, Joan was very exact and Judy was the mother. So it's a pretty good combination of the two, but that was a little bit history on that. The Recreation Commission was in charge of hiring camp director who handled all the camp activities. And I think back in 2018, he left. And that just threw a monkey wrench into everything that we were doing that had to do with payroll, trips, day-to-day function. The recreation coordinator handed that job and did it pretty good, actually. She organized the camp for 1 year until the COVID pandemic struck and the camp was unable to open because of a lot of state directives at that time, if you recall. And Alphabet, which is the after-school program, was taken over. They ran a pretty good program last year. I've been told by the school administration they're having a meeting on Monday, and they'll probably talk about what they can do. You know, if you need more information, just go to recreation. Let me know what I could do to help you understand. But it's not like we're ignoring things. But we're trying to do the right thing, and we're trying to do it as best we can. So, you know, I hope I helped a little bit. And you know, you can demand a lot of stuff, but you know, you look at today's world is not like yesterday's world. For crying out loud, you know, we used to have what they call counselors in training. Remember that, John?
That's
We
right.
had 13-year-olds, and we were training. If we did that today, we'd have the state stepping on our neck. We can't do today what we did in the late 70s and early 80s. It was really a simpler time. I'd like to say a better time, but we have to accept the reality of this is a new world that we live in. And we have to look at all the liabilities, and not the least of which is getting help. I talked to Business Town. They can't help. So to the assumption that we could do this and everything's going to be hunky-dory, we get all the people we need. I have a granddaughter that has a college degree in this recreation stuff, and she runs camps down in South Jersey and Pennsylvania. And they have a nightmare. And these are much more sophisticated than we do, but we will continue looking into it. We're not going to stop looking into it. The Recreation Commission is, I'm sure, prepared to look into it more, and they will. But when they make a decision, that's a decision that the Recreation Commission makes. So I hope that I helped everybody a little bit. I know I'm boring you to death, and I'm sorry, but but I have a lot to say about that, and I just want to make sure people and they know these little details that you can't see under the radar. And I wish that it was simple as everybody would make it, but damn it, it's not. And we're going to still do the best we can and still protect everybody's health and still look after our residents, especially the children, as best we can. That's what we do. So I'm sorry I went on and on like that, but I had a lot to say and I said it. With that,
Mike, can I respectfully ask, we have Nicole Schubert, who's a Board of Education member. She was kicked off the meeting during public comment and was entered back after. Could she speak about the Alphabest with your okay on that?
I prefer
not.
I prefer she did it with Recreation Commission.
Exactly.
That this work is really going to be done.
Excuse me, the Recreation Committee is not meeting until March 8th, and just said, I'm not sure how you know, that the school district is meeting with Alphabest.
That's from your superintendent. That's how I know. I do talk to the school, so make
when
no
you have
mistake.
when you have a Zoom meeting, when you have a Zoom meeting, you have to have a little leniency with technology. So I was in the meeting the entire time. I've had my hand raised when you let me back in, and I wasn't able to speak. I'd like a moment to speak. Usually there's comments at the end as well. Looks like those were removed.
Our meetings don't have comments at the end.
That's unfortunate because you have a member.
Yes, it is, but that's the rules that we have, Nicole. I'll give you some time because in all fairness, I don't normally do it, but go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Can I ask, Nicole, are you speaking as yourself or for the board?
I'm speaking as myself, of course.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Just checking.
Okay,
Yep.
sure. So I've been a resident here my whole life, and I've been through the summer camp program like you spoke about it. Mr. Francis, when you were speaking about it, actually made me really nostalgic because I was a camper, a counselor in training, and a counselor was my first job. Probably part of the reason why I'm a teacher now. So
it works.
So when I hear that the camp isn't running this summer, and honestly, my kids don't need to go to it because I'm fortunate enough that I'm home in the summer with my kids. But I know my neighbors' kids and just the kids in town go to it. I was upset to find out that it wasn't running. Now, last year, COVID was a strange year. I'm not sure why the town couldn't run it. Sounds like there was a lot of regulations, and I understand that now. But we're coming out of this, and the Alphabest camp only is running or might run if the town can offer it, because the school realizes how important and vital care is for children. Okay, but it's not that they're running it. It's a done deal. This is a conversation that the town should be having at the rec meeting, I guess, with the schools in conjunction. The schools, actually, Mr. DiBenedetto took it upon himself, and I think maybe Mr. Francis, you were in on that conversation, to offer something as a last ditch effort. But now as people are returning back to work, not to very high paying jobs, I just can't fathom how the rec department doesn't see this as a need. I think it's wonderful that we do all of the daily things for children down the holidays, but this is 2 months that only impact parents, but impact the kids. And talk about providing local job opportunities for parents that maybe can work there, kids in high school who can get on the job training just like I did. And I appreciate that you said that things were better years ago. Who says that we can't make things a little bit more like that in Hopatcong? The good old days of having a summer camp run by kids who live in town. I mean, I don't know what all the regulations are, but from what I read, doesn't need to have a nurse. It doesn't need to be fancy. It needs to be competent people who care for kids and want to have a good time. So I'm really disappointed to find out, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, that just because Alpha Best ran it last year, that the recreation committee is hands off. And all the things that you listed that the rec commission does and the coordinator does, that's great. That sounds like a job that someone gets paid for. I personally help tremendously with the wrestling program in town. I do all the things that Miss Emilian does for basketball, and I don't get paid. And there's people on here who do the same thing for soccer and for football, and they don't get paid either. Now, I don't want to get paid, but I think it's pretty unfair to say that she has too many things to do when she gets paid for it and she has an assistant. And if anything should be offered in this town, I think people would much more appreciate a summer camp that's very affordable for 2 months out of the year than an Easter egg hunt.
Thank you, Nicole.
In this time period.
That's your
I
5
appreciate
minutes.
you letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't normally do that, but in your case, we made exception, and I hope people realize how flexible we are, and that's the technology. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Make a
made.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you all. Thank you all for coming.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, John Boy.
Good